I wake up in the back of the auditorium. I had forgotten that there was an assembly that day, and there were just like a bajillion students like flooding the auditorium. We're having a fire drill in winter. He looks at me and he's like, do you want to just go? And I was like, yeah, let's go. So we actually never even made it into the school that day. So I go down there for one day. Then I was like, that was really fun. Let me do it again tomorrow. So then I do it a second day. And then the second day turned into 3 weeks. Senioritis was bad. I got senioritis my sophomore year of high school. Hi, welcome or welcome back. Today I'm going to be telling you about a bunch of different times I skipped class in high school, which you may be thinking, oh my god, like I used to skip class in high school, or like I skip class in school all the time, like it's not a big deal. I can't do anything normal, so none of these are just like, oh, I just stayed home for the day and got in trouble. No, these are a little ridiculous, so I figure why not tell you about them. Now, I know by the time of uploading this, it is summer. So nobody's really in school anymore, but if you're still going to school, this is not me flexing like, oh my god, I graduated even though I was skipping all the time. Don't do that. Okay, do as I say, not as I do. That I'm not trying to like make it seem like it's like not a big deal or whatever. I was just dumb, and I had really bad anxiety, and for some reason just not going to class and eventually getting in trouble was easier to deal with than the thought of everybody in my class looking at me when I walked through the door into the classroom. So that's why. Okay, don't do that. Don't skip class. If you want to check out any of the other story times I've done here, I have this playlist right here. It will be linked down in the description below. Don't forget to like, comment, share, subscribe, all of the things. I always appreciate it. Now let's get into these stories, shall we? Get ready for the really cringy titles also. The first story I'm gonna tell, I'm calling Time Isn't Real. Here's the thing about this first one. This was an accident. I promise. This was an accident. I don't know how I did this. My sophomore year of high school, okay? All of my friends had a study hall during the same period, but I had science class. I hated this science class. I just felt like no matter like how much I studied or anything, like I just wasn't getting it. And instead of just like trying to get help, I just gave up. Not proud of it. I just did. And all my friends had the same study hall except for me. So just one day I was like, you know what? I'm gonna skip science today. Go hang out with my friends during their study hall. I go and we play Crazy Eights. Okay, like the iMessage one. And I mean, here's a screenshot of us actually playing it. Look how many cards these mother gave me. Ridiculous. That wasn't even the only time it happened. But anyways, so I go down there for one day to do this. And then I was like, that was really fun. Let me do it again tomorrow. So then I do it a second day. And then the second day turned into 3 weeks. I have no idea how that happened, because in my head, it had not been that long. I had not skipped 3 weeks worth of science straight to go play Crazy Eights with my friends during their study hall. I swear it wasn't that long, but it was. It was. And I just don't know how that was possible. I still to this day don't know how I it wasn't clicking that I missed that much science. And then I got in-school suspension for it for one day, which is kind of crazy. It probably should have been more than that. When I was in there though, somebody did come in to ISS that knew the person running it, like the teacher. The teacher was like, what are you doing here? And she was like, I just poured a carton of milk on somebody's head. I was like, this is tea. This is actually kind of fun. It wasn't fun. Don't do that. I'm just... Anyways, now I'm calling this second story Trapped in My Dreams. This one was my senior year of high school. I did theater my sophomore through senior years of high school. So I had free range of all of the theater area and the auditorium, basically. All right. This one particular day I got to school and I just was not having it. I don't remember what the problem was anymore. Okay, I graduated 6 years ago, which that's the first time I've said that out loud. And I don't know, I might, when we're done here, I might have like an existential crisis or something, but not right now. I got to school the one day. I did not feel like it that day. Okay, I couldn't do it. In my senior year of high school, my first period class was a study hall. So I had seen a couple of the other people that I did theater with, and I decided after first period I was going to hide in the back of the auditorium. And then I texted one of the people that I was in theater with that saw me in my first period study hall and was like, oh my gosh, like I completely forgot I had a doctor's appointment. I forgot to tell our theater substitute that day. Like, can you just let him know for me? And she was like, yeah, like of course. So I'm sorry that I used you as a pawn in my game, but I couldn't. I did not feel like doing it that day. So substitute thinks that I'm just, I had to leave early for a doctor's appointment. I completely forgot about it. And I slept in the back of our auditorium for like the whole day. Like I read a book for a little bit. I went on my phone for a little bit, and then I took a nap. And this is where it gets just ridiculous to me. I fall asleep back there, whatever, right? I wake up in the back of the auditorium in my dream. And in my dream, when I woke up in the back of the auditorium, I had forgotten that there was an assembly that day. And there were just like a bajillion students like flooding the auditorium because we were having an assembly in my dream. So then, because that stressed me out, I woke up again in another dream in the back of the auditorium. So I have now woken up in the back of the auditorium twice inside two different dreams. In the second one, there was just like an alarm going off, and I woke up and I was like, is this real or what? Because when I dream, it is extremely vivid. Like my dreams are so vivid. I can feel things. Like if I put my hand on somebody's shoulder, or like, I don't know, I just touch something, I can feel it when I'm in there. And then when I wake up, I can remember what it felt like. Things like that. So I was wandering around in this second dream. Like I started getting up. I was like, is this real? Like what is going on? But then I was actually awoken to an announcement, because apparently that day we were having an early dismissal drill. So the speaker from the announcement woke me up again in the back of the auditorium, for real this time. But because of the two dreams I had, I was like, is this real life or what? Like I couldn't tell. So I got up and stumbled outside. And because I didn't wake up again, I was like, this has to be real life. Like this has to be the real one. Like I'm awake now. But yeah, I hid in the back of the auditorium the entire day and fell asleep back there. And apparently my punishment was getting stuck in a dream paradox. Number 3 is called the Prom Arrangement. We're going back to sophomore year of high school, all right? Now, if you've seen this story time here, okay, you'll know that when I was a sophomore, most of my friends were seniors, and I got to go to their senior prom with them. And then after that, we went prom camping. It was a whole thing. That's what the story time is about, but that's not what this story is about. If you wanted to buy a ticket to prom, you couldn't be failing more than 2 classes, and you had to be passing gym. Like you could not be failing gym. I was failing gym. I was failing gym because the stupid swim unit. The pool was disgusting. My mom, she was so nice. She put up with a lot from me in terms of school, but the one thing she would not do was just get me a doctor's note out of swim. And I was not getting in that pool. I wasn't doing it. So I would just take a 0 for the entire quarter, because I wasn't doing it. The pool was disgusting. And then they would give us 5 minutes to get changed and dry your hair and everything. There wasn't enough time. I wasn't gonna go to class and sit in front of somebody and have my hair dripping onto their desk. It wasn't gonna happen. So I just took a 0 for the quarter. So I was failing gym. The way that gym worked at my school was you had it every other day for the whole year. I wanted to go to prom really bad because all my friends were going. I went to my gym teacher and I was like, can we please work something out? Like, please, like there has to be something I can do. Like just to pass me early. Like I just needed him to give me a 65, because 65 was like the lowest passing grade you could get. I was like, what can I do to get you to just give me a 65 so I can buy a prom ticket and go to prom? He said that he would pass me with a 65 ahead of time if I came to gym every day for the rest of the year. I was like, perfect, no problem. That's totally fine. Thank you so much. And then he made me call my mom in front of him to explain our little deal going on, our agreement, if you will, so that I could go to prom. And he did give me a 65 and passed me early, which was so nice. So I hope he's having a good life. Now we have what I would consider the funniest of all my skipping school stories, all right? We're calling this one Below Freezing. If you have been here before, you guys know about my old friend Liam. Our senior year of high school, wow. A lot of these took place during my senior year of high school. Senioritis was bad. I got senioritis my sophomore year of high school. Liam used to pick me up in the morning sometimes, and we would drive to school together. And, you know, I don't know where you live, but I live where there's winter. An awful, I hate my life kind of winter. And because of that, because of the fact that the winters here are freezing cold and terrible, there was never any parking close to the school. People would get there so early just to get the parking. So you would be parking down like at the end of side streets, which is fine. Listen, I'm not meaning to sound ungrateful. I'm glad that we were even able to have a car to get there, that I was able to get an education. Okay, grateful for that. I'm just saying it was cold for the context of this story. Okay, it really was not the end of the world. We park really far away from the school. It is freezing outside. We walk from his car to the school. It's like a 15-20 minute walk because there's snow and it's cold outside and everything. And it's just, you know, when it's colder, you move slower, I think. So we're making our way to the school. I am not kidding. The second Liam puts his hand on the door handle and opens the door, the fire alarm goes off. We're having a fire drill in winter. So everybody starts coming outside. We are so mad. We're standing there for like 5-10 minutes waiting for them to, you know, make sure everybody's out of the school and blah, blah, blah. And he looks at me and he's like, do you want to just go? And I was like, yeah, let's go. So we actually never even made it into the school that day. We left. All the teachers, everybody outside saw us leaving. We did not care. We had it. We get back in his car and we drove around for a little bit listening to music. And then we went to his house to like just hang out for the rest of the day because my dad was home. I couldn't go home, but his dad wasn't home. So we went to his house. We were hanging out for a little bit. If you don't know me, I am always tired. Always. I can't remember the last time I wasn't. I was like, do you care if I take a nap? Because I am really, really tired from doing nothing all day. He was like, no, go ahead. Like, I don't care. Like, I'm gonna go take a shower. He went to take a shower. I took a nap. This might be the funniest thing I've ever done in my life. And I'm not kidding. If this is the peak of my hilarity, I'm content with that. He's taking a shower. I fall asleep for a little bit. Eventually, like, he's done. The sound of him, like, shutting his shower off woke me up for some reason. Sometimes I just like to pretend like I'm still asleep when I'm not. So I'm awake, but I'm pretending to still be asleep, you know, eyes closed. I haven't moved, whatever, right? He comes back into the room. Fully clothed, by the way. I just feel like I should say that. Fully clothed, all right? He goes to his closet to get, like, I don't know, like a jacket or something. I don't remember. It's freezing. His closet was on the opposite wall from where I was sleeping. So Liam is facing away from me, okay, looking through his closet. And I, dead silently, sit up. I just make absolutely no noise. I sit up and I am dead locked staring at him. 2 seconds ago, he came in the room and I was dead asleep. And now I am sitting up, fully awake, staring at him like this. I have never again seen somebody get so scared in my entire life. He turned around and saw me just staring at him like that, and he got so scared that he couldn't even like yell. He just like gasped and fell backwards into his closet. He was like that and like had to catch himself on the door frame. It is still to this day the funniest thing I've ever seen in my life. You literally could not top that. It might not sound that funny. Maybe it's like a you had to be there kind of thing, but I was there. All right, and I just might be one of my proudest moments. Okay, anyways, we're moving on to the last story that I have for you guys here. I'm calling this one Incognito. So I know I've been telling a lot of stories about skipping school, but it's like I wasn't trying to be a bad student. I just, a lot of the time, was either having anxiety and just did not feel like I could push through it at the time. I push through it now, but at the time, no. But that being said, I did not want to stress my dad out. Like, I didn't want to make him feel like his daughter was like failing at school and stuff. So I would do all this secretly, obviously, but not because I didn't want to get in trouble. It was just because I didn't want to give him things to worry about. Like I said earlier, my senior year, I had a study hall first period. The way they took attendance in this study hall was not calling out names. They just put a sheet of paper up at the front of the room sometimes, and you were supposed to go sign it. Once in a while though, they would just completely forget to put the attendance sheet out, and then everybody would be getting phone calls home saying, oh, your kid was absent first period. Because if you were absent from first period, they would call your parents, because it's like, oh, you know, they might not have come to school, like what happened? But if you skipped a different period, they usually wouldn't call unless it was like crazy. You know, now that I think about it, I don't even think they called my parents when I skipped 3 weeks of science. Yeah, anyways, after that happened a few times where they just kept forgetting to put out the attendance sheet, I was like, oh, I'm not going to this then. And then it would open up the day for me if I wanted to skip later. I could just be like, oh my God, like they forgot to take attendance, because there's a couple times they called my dad, obviously, and he'd be like, are you at school? And I'd be like, yep. And he'd be like, well, they just said you're not. And then I would send him a picture because I was there. And then I would be like, oh my God, like they just keep forgetting to put the attendance sheet out. Like there's nothing I can do about it. Once I learned that, it was over. But there was this one particular day where I didn't even feel like I could get out of the house. I don't know, that day I guess was just too much for me. I did not want to stress my dad out, like I said. So I told him that Liam was picking me up again that morning to drive me to school. And here's the thing, my dad worked really late, so usually he wasn't like awake by the time I was leaving for school. He would sleep in. So I told him that Liam was picking me up, and then I went into my room and I bunched up a blanket on the corner of my bed, and I sat under that blanket for like 9 hours just to be safe. I didn't make a sound. I didn't leave my room. I didn't move, because my dad never invaded my personal space. Like he never just went into my room, but I'm always just trying to stay one step ahead. All right. So I hid scrunched up under a blanket for like 9 hours. And then at some point I heard him go outside, you know, after school hours were over. And then I quickly got out of my room and grabbed my book bag and then like went to the back porch and was like, hi, I'm home. I'm back. Surprise. I don't know. I like feel bad. He does know about this now. I don't like lie or keep secrets virtually ever, but when I do, I don't keep them for long. So he knows about that now. I don't know. Guys, see, because like I'm embarrassed talking about these things. So just think about how embarrassed you would be if you did this stuff. Don't skip class. Just don't do it. It's just too much extra stress. I'm sorry. I know I'm like kind of like really awkward right now, and it's really making me upset, but I'm embarrassed. Anyways, that's enough of this. Thank you so much for watching. If you enjoyed this video, I upload new videos every single Monday at 12 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. Make sure you give this video a like, comment, share, subscribe, all the things. I always appreciate it. If you want to see any of the other places I exist, my Instagram and TikTok are both linked down below. I am very active on both of those. Have a good rest of your day, night, week, month, year, life, all of it.